World Driving Championship as Jerry Donaldson joins us from Jerez, Spain, and you must feel good for a couple of reasons. Obviously, Villeneuve's win, the World Championship, but Mika Hakkinen, it's been long overdue.
Yes, first of all, for Villeneuve, it's a fabulous way to win the championship. Of course, there will be some controversy about his collision with Schumacher, but in racing, the guy who's in front, it's his corner. Jacques was in front. I don't know what Michael's reaction might be, but there was no way that Jacques was going to give up without a fight. He's a racer at heart, and I know how he plans his overtaking maneuvers. He always uses a surprise attack. Don't sit on a guy's tail. Go for it when he's least expecting it, and that's how he got it.
As we look at Mika Hakkinen and ahead, the replay of the pass, and I think Jacques Villeneuve nursing his car, despite Martin Brundle's thought that he had the speed to hold on. I think he used his head here.
Sure he did. Not only that, I think Jacques' tires were badly blistered. His Williams was really battle-scarred. He was in a real fight, which of course he loves, and that'll make his championship all the sweeter. And it was wonderful to see Mika Hakkinen win his first Grand Prix. It was a strong effort from McLaren, Coulthard in third place. And of course, David Coulthard is one of Jacques' best friends, and he'll be very happy for Jacques.
The smile of a world champion, Jacques Villeneuve, from Berthierville, Quebec, is your 1997 World Driving Champion as Michael Schumacher failed to finish. Jerry Donaldson, what does it mean, a Canadian winning this World Drivers' Championship for the very first time?
Well, it means everything in the world, literally, Vic. Some people wonder why this is called a World Championship. There were drivers in this race from over a dozen nations. They've raced in 14 different countries this year. It really is a World Championship. And to have Jacques Villeneuve's name added to a list of guys like Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, Niki Lauda, Jackie Stewart, Juan Manuel Fangio, that's the ultimate honor in the world of motorsport. And Jacques Villeneuve deserves it.
Indeed, and I think you see a man who is greatly relieved, because you talked about the pressure he was under and the people who believed it was his to lose as much as to win. He was supposed to win this championship, and then he does in this final race.
Expectations were very high, and even Ferrari fans, I know it'll be a sad day in Italy, and Ferrari fans will have mixed feelings in Canada because their team lost, but their driver won. The Formula One establishment needs somebody to be able to fight Michael Schumacher, who is the superstar of the sport, and Jacques has proven he can do that, and that can only be good for the sport.
Yeah, I'm not sure, though, if he's the man that certainly can fight him on the track. I don't know if they want Jacques Villeneuve to fight them in the boardroom and off the track as he has done this year.
Well, say what you like about Jacques. He's called Formula One's blonde bad guy, all kinds of names. But look how popular he is here with Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard. He's a very popular young man around the world with the fans. He's a rebel, dyes his hair blonde and so on. And he's a colorful character. And he also races dramatically. He seems incapable of providing a boring performance. And he's made this season one of the most exciting in years.
Indeed he has. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll look back at this wonderful race, the 17th and final race, and the crowning of a new world champion, a Canadian world champion, Jacques Villeneuve, on TSN. Villeneuve, as well as Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, to arrive in the interview room in Jerez, Spain, and when they are, we will go there. But what a great and wonderful culmination to this weekend, which actually started with qualifying on Saturday. The top three cars, Villeneuve, Schumacher, and Frentzen, all clocking the exact same time. And so there was great anticipation about the start of today's race. Villeneuve on the pole for the 10th time, and it was a disappointing start for Villeneuve, who is on the right. Schumacher in his red Ferrari gets the jump, and then Villeneuve allows Frentzen to pull alongside in turn one and move into second place. And now a look from Ferrari and Schumacher. You see him get the jump to take the lead. Now it was Frentzen moving over and allowing Villeneuve to start making up some room. And then Schumacher gets by Norbert Fontana. Fontana actually holds up Villeneuve. This is nearing the midway point. Villeneuve, his second pit stop, around 42 laps in. He's out, he's really fast, but look who goes by, the red car. That's Schumacher. Then this McLaren, that's Coulthard. And so late in the race, Villeneuve is currently in third. Now he makes up the ground. He tries to go inside as it looked like Schumacher was having problems. Schumacher tries to close the door. He gets bumped into the pit, high spots it, and he is out of the race. But now, what about Villeneuve? Watch what happens here as Schumacher turns right, literally puts his front wheel into the side pod, into the radiator. Would that do damage to Villeneuve's car? Villeneuve would have to nurse that car around, as Schumacher knew that his championship hopes were riding with this man, Jacques Villeneuve, who came into the race just 1 point behind. He now needs to finish in the top 6, but nursing an obviously ailing car. And with both Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard closing on the final lap, would he have enough to hold them off? Jacques Villeneuve looking for win number 8. The final lap, the final race in Jerez, Spain. The McLarens closing very quickly as Villeneuve's times were some 5 seconds slower. Mika Hakkinen, the Flying Finn, closing quickly. David Coulthard, a 2-time winner this year, right behind. And then Gerhard Berger, not that much further behind in a Benetton in his final race before retiring. So into the final lap they come. Villeneuve trying to hold off Mika Hakkinen. Will he be cautious? He decides that, in fact, he's better to get his point, get his championship, and here goes Mika Hakkinen. The Finn goes by. Villeneuve locks it up. He'll see Coulthard in his mirrors. And now David Coulthard, his very good friend on the Formula One Tour, will go on the inside. And in 1 lap, he drops to third. As Mika Hakkinen goes on to win, David Coulthard second, but Jacques Villeneuve will hold on to third place to claim the World Driving Championship for 1997. A dramatic end to this 97 season.
I can't see the logic in that. I think he had the speed to win the race.
So it's Mika Hakkinen. It's been a long time coming for Hakkinen, who led some races this year and then had engine problems. He had 5 previous races DNFs because of Mercedes problems, but he wins his first. David Coulthard claims second, and Jacques Villeneuve on the podium, and he picks up enough points to get by Schumacher to win the World Championship. So it is Villeneuve, your world champion, ahead of Schumacher. Heinz-Harald Frentzen finishes third. The Constructors' Championship, it was decided last week in Japan, and for a 9th time, Williams is the Constructors' Champion. Jerry Donaldson, a wonderful ending to really was probably one of the best Formula One weekends in a long time.
Fabulous for fans around the world, Vic, and as I said before, there were probably 500 million of them watching it on television, and they certainly were thoroughly entertained, and a lot of it had to do with our own Jacques Villeneuve, because he really made a battle of it. And I know that this is the kind of race he likes, where he really has to fight to win, and he did it.
And unlike last year, this champion will stay at Williams. Damon Hill, of course, going to Arrows. The thoughts on him and his association and his relationship with Frank Williams?
Jacques Villeneuve with Frank Williams. Frank Williams is above all, although he's crippled and confined to a wheelchair, he's a racer at heart. He loves motor racing. Of course, he loves to win any way he can, but he prefers drivers who push hard, who hang it all out. Jacques Villeneuve does that, and Frank Williams thought that Damon Hill didn't do enough of it, and that's why Damon left the team. But Frank Williams will be thoroughly pleased about this whole season. He's won the Constructors' Championship, symbolic of team supremacy. Now he's got a world champion driver, and next year on his Williams, Jacques Villeneuve will carry the #1, signifying the reigning world champion.
Gary, do you think, considering the problems, off-the-track problems, then the possible suspension, the appeal in Japan, we talked then of how Villeneuve was so disappointed in what was going on because he's not really a political animal. He doesn't like the politics of the sport, and you suggested he might even up and walk away from it. Do you think that this now makes up for all that and that he'll just forget that, or is that still very much a part of him?
No, I'm sure he'll forget it all now, Vic. He makes a point of not dwelling on the past. He's a forward thinker all the time, and it'll soon be out of his mind the euphoria of winning the championship. As he said to us before, losing the championship, he would hate doing that more than even the joy of winning it. He hates to lose, and now he's won. And I think he's probably, with 33 Grand Prix under his belt, I think he's won the championship earlier than any other driver in the 47-year history of this sport, earlier in his career. So that's another achievement.
Certainly, and I know that when he was driving in the Kart World Series in primarily North America, U.S. and Canada, people continually brought up his father. Has Gilles been talked about there, and what has Jacques' reaction been? Jerry?
Hello. Vic, there hasn't really been much talk about Gilles Villeneuve. Only a few fans still bring up his name. Jacques has made his name for himself. Of course, Gilles Villeneuve will always be remembered fondly. And